Hi, it's Dr. Somji. Today we're going to be talking about how we treat acne at my clinic. The first thing I always tell patients is that you need an in-depth consultation as well as a skin analysis. So in this consultation, we go through a number of things. We go through first the history of your acne, whether you had acne during adolescence, so as a teenager, or whether you just developed it during adulthood. We also go through a number of lifestyle factors as well, because they seriously affect the propensity to getting acne. So for example, if you have a high glycemic diet, you eat a lot of sugar, you're going to be prone to getting more acneic symptoms. Secondly, we go through your skin routine because there's normally some mistakes that you might be doing during your skincare. For example, using too harsh ingredients that damage the skin barrier and leaves you more susceptible to getting acne in the first place. Also, we talk about other lifestyle factors. So do you smoke? Do you take recreational drugs? All of these things also increase the amount of acne that you get. If you go to the gym, are you washing your face afterwards? Are you also taking performance enhancing medication, things like testosterone that increase the amount of acne that you get? We also look for clues for female adult hormonal acne, things that we call androgenic features. So sometimes a little bit more hair loss at the hairline, more heavier periods, more oilier skin around the time of the month. Also, increased amount of body hair. These are all signs of something called polycystic ovarian syndrome that can increase the amount of adult acne that you get. So it's not so simple. You need to do this consultation beforehand to ensure that all of these things are set before you start thinking about what acne you're going to treat, as well as what type of treatments you're going to have as well. So we perform a skin analysis looking at the bacteria levels on the skin and also looking at the side effects of getting acne. What I mean by that is once you've had a spot, are you getting persistent redness within the skin, something we call post-inflammatory erythema? Are you also getting more pigmentation, something called post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation? Or are you even getting more scarring, so loss of volume, things that we call atrophic scarring? These are all things that we can pick up sooner, and it will affect the way that we treat your acne. So once you've done these analyses, then we look at how we can help. And the first thing that we do is look at your skincare. We like to start really basic. We don't want to give you like a 7, 8, 9, 10 step routine. You really want to be doing a few simple things every day, ensuring that you are getting the adequate ingredients to help acne as well. So we look to introduce things like salicylic acid to reduce the oil within the skin. We also don't want to use harsh acids like things like glycolic acid that can damage the outer layers of the skin. We want to introduce things that help with the bacteria levels on the skin, and that's really important because the latest research shows that we have bacteria that lives on the surface of the skin. You've got good bacteria and bad bacteria. Skin that has acne has a greater quantity of the bad bacteria than the good ones. We want to tip that balance, and this is why the use of pre and probiotics within skincare is really important to change the way that your skin works. I always believe in not drying out acne. I believe in healing the skin barrier, which is the outer layer of skin that prevents moisture loss, as well as it provides a protection against pollutants, as well as things from daily life, so environmental stress factors that also help induce acne as well. So you want to heal that skin barrier with ingredients like niacinamide, ingredients that also reduce redness and sensitivity, things like azelaic acid derivatives. These are all the things that you need to be using. We know that one of the best things for controlling acne for long periods of time are retinols. So we know that retinols, i.e. topical vitamin A, is great for reducing sebum control, reducing the oiliness that you get with acne, and therefore reducing bacteria levels. But it also helps strengthen the skin so that your skin barrier is also repaired. Introducing retinol slowly into your skincare is really important for long-term remission of acneic symptoms. And these are the things that we work with you to include slowly over time. We might only introduce a retinol 1 or 2 days a week as your skin gets used to it, because there's evidence that if you introduce retinol, probably around 20% of patients get what we call a retinol purge. It gets much worse for 6 weeks, and then it tips a corner where it gets better. So you need also psychological coaching as well to say, hey, this is a process. Your acne may get a little bit worse until it gets better, but you have to push through. So your skincare is the foundation, and we normally like you to use that skincare for anywhere between 2 up to 6 weeks before we even think about treatments. Let's talk about treatments. Well, the first thing that you can do, which has been really useful in my clinics, is the use of chemical peeling. We use a combination of different acids to gently exfoliate the outer layers of the skin, as well as decongesting clogged pores. So use of things like salicylic acid are really useful. I like to use salicylic acid chemical peeling at around 30%. It's great to reduce those acneic symptoms, reduce the sebum control, and also get a quick hold upon the acne as well. At this point, I don't like to use microneedling for acne because your skin barrier may be impaired. So we really want to go through that healing process first before you do anything. This is why we introduced my recovery cream, which is great for healing that skin barrier and strengthening the skin so your skin can then benefit with it over time. You might have a few of these chemical peels every couple of weeks to help get in control of symptoms. If you've got pigmentation, the chemical peeling might be slightly different. We do things called Jessner peels, which contain things like resurfacing as well as lactic acid that are very useful for the pigmentation that you get post-acne. If you've got redness as well as your acne, then things like mandelic acid are fantastic at around 40%, which can be used in conjunction with the salicylic acid to help with the active acne, but also with the redness as well. So you're treating both things at the same time. One of the things that I found that is really useful for controlling acne with very minimal downtime is the use of lasers. I don't mean laser resurfacing. I mean using different wavelengths that are specific for acne. So they reduce the sebaceous gland activity, the oil gland activity, but at the same time, if you're susceptible to getting scarring, atrophic scarring, it can help stimulate collagen in that area. So a wavelength that's really useful is erbium glass. And you can use this as a gentle, non-ablative resurfacing. So it creates channels within the skin that helps the collagen production, but also it can be used almost to reduce that bacteria level on the skin as well. And this is what we use as a clear skin laser. So it's called Clear Skin Pro. The machine that is used is the Harmony Pro, and it's fantastic because you can layer the treatment. So you can treat the active acne and reduce bacteria levels, but you can also treat the scarring at the same time, which traditionally people say you can't treat scarring until you clear the acne. But this is a treatment that you can do that will treat both, so it can speed up the results, which is really great. Once you've treated the acne, then we start looking at the scarring. So for example, if you have remaining pigmentation within that area, that's where the use of things like Q-switch Nd:YAG lasers are fantastic to clear up remaining pigmentation. If you've got redness post, then we're going to be using dye-based lasers, so vascular lasers, to help reduce the redness within the skin. So you're going to go through different pathways in your journey from treating your active acne all the way through to the scarring. So once you've cleared up the acne, we take a deeper look at the scarring. So we might do another skin analysis to have a look and see what type of scarring you have. If you've got that atrophic scarring, there's different types. You may have some ice pick scarring. You may have some rolling scarring in the area. You may have box scarring in the area. The first thing that we do is look at whether there's any tethers underneath the skin, i.e. things that are pulling down, so fibrous bands underneath the skin as a result of the inflammation of acne that are bringing it down. The first step that we do is blunt needle subcision. So this is using a cannula just to gently release those tethers so the skin comes up. You're going to do that first because anything you do from the top is not going to work if it's stuck down from underneath. So subcision tends to be the first acne scarring treatment that you do. After that, we want to smooth the edges of the scar. If you've got ice pick scars, things like the TCA CROSS, and there's a link to a video that I've done looking at TCA CROSS for acne scarring is very useful. It's the introduction of 100% or even probably around 80 to 100% trichloroacetic acid into the scars to help the scar shrink and also come up to the surface. We may even cut the scars out using a treatment called excision, where I make a circular incision around the area and then put a stitch in to help to smooth the surface as well. So those deeper iceberg scars, sometimes the trichloroacetic acid, the TCA CROSS treatment might not be enough. We may choose different areas where we might surgically revise the scars. Once you've done this, then you want to stimulate the lower levels of the skin to thicken and also come up and smooth the surface. That's where you're going to use a combination of ablative as well as non-ablative fractional lasers. We use a number of different wavelengths within the clinic. We use CO2, which is the gold standard for ablative lasers, to smooth the surface of the skin out. But we also want to use non-ablative lasers that go deeper down into the skin to help lift as well at the same time. So you're smoothing and lifting at the same time. That's mainly using wavelengths such as erbium YAG as well as erbium glass as well. And you can use them in combination at the same time, particularly for darker skin types as well, and it's a lot safer. That's your journey from the initial diagnosis of acne, even looking at your environmental factors as well as day-to-day life, all the way through to treating the scarring at the same time. Once you've treated that scarring, then hey, even when you're treating that scarring, you might be putting different ingredients on the surface of the skin. So growth factors, exosomes, things that stimulate the skin so you get a better response with the scarring. And then you're also in the background maintaining your active acne as well with your lifestyle factors as well as your skincare. And the skincare, you've got the holy trinity of using things like azelaic acid, skin barrier repair with things like niacinamide, as well as retinols to maintain your active acne. So if you have any questions or you need to know anything more about how to treat your acne, let us know below. It's an individualized approach that all results from an in-depth education as well as examination of the patient. Thank you so much.